This video is all you need to see to scale up your roofing company all the way from 5 figures to $200,000 plus in just 2 months. In this video, I'm going to explain the exact same system I built and I used myself to make this happen. No bluff, no theory. Step by step, I'm going to show you exactly what I did to leverage every single opportunity in the market to come to me, and I closed more jobs. That's how I took my business from $80,000 months all the way to $360,000 months in just 2 months. And right now I'm at a level where I do $500,000, $600,000 across multiple locations using the same exact systems, same exact everything, just replicating it to different locations and growing the company. By the way, my name is Kareem Al Fadi. I own a marketing agency and I work with contractors that are doing a million plus revenue by scaling them up, creating a different pipeline for them, bringing multiple 6 figures worth of jobs every single month. And I do this across roofing, remodeling, whether you do kitchen, bathroom remodeling, concrete patios, decks, fences, solars, any high ticket contracting businesses that are just looking to get a pipeline, bringing multiple 6 figures. That's what I do. And that's where I replicate the same exact system, the same exact process, and I do it for them and they close more jobs. So let's just dive into it and stop talking more about the systems and how everything works, and let's just get directly to it. So where I was when I knew that it had to be something that was just going to bring me more appointments, because at that time all I was relying on, my business was doing $80,000 to $100,000 months, just relying on angel leads, relying on referrals, word of mouth, and relying on home shows. Home shows for any business that are just trying to get off the ground. It's the best way to scale your business and to get more appointments, because every home show I used to go to, and still to right now, I barely do it because I don't have time for that, and I have a lot of appointments that I cannot even handle across multiple locations. But when I do it sometimes, just because I need at a different location, a different state, more appointments, I do home shows. We book 15 to 20 appointments over the weekend. So I just had inconsistent months while my baseline was the same. So what I used to do, so in January, I made 60 grand, in February 90, March 70, then 80. So I was basically averaging around 80s, and that was just survival, not growth, because my baseline, my expenses were 55,000. That covers the payroll, that covers the payments, overhead, and everything. So, and at the end of the day, I was like, well, my months are inconsistent. I don't know how much I'm gonna be making next month, because in order for me to survive, I have to be at 55,000 plus. So because all I just had to do, as I said, I was just relying on referrals, Angie's, and home shows, and going to 20, 25 appointments a month and closing 10 to 15. And sometimes those 10 to 15 had to be low ticket roofing jobs, just because I had to do it. I needed the money in order to get my expenses covered. And a lot of contractors that I talk to, we sometimes tend to take those jobs that are not worth our time just because we need to cover the expenses. And I don't want you to be at this point, because it's called the survival mode. So I just felt like I was working harder than ever, and there was no breaking through out of that loop. So there was like only three things broken in my system, and I just genuinely sat down and I was like, okay, let's just see what's broken in my system and let's just see how I can fix that. So the three things that were actually broken in my system: visibility. The right homeowners were not finding me, because I knew at that time there was a competitor doing exactly what I was doing, same offer, same everything that we do, but we provide a top-notch service. We're better than them, but the guy was doing $250,000, $300,000 every single month. And I asked my questions. Well, why do people go to him and not come to me? And I figured out that my visibility was very low at that time. Nobody knew that I existed except the people that I do work with, that I do get in home shows. And I do better than that guy in home shows because my company had a better reputation than my competitor. But at the end of the day, my competitor was bringing $300,000 months, and I was bringing 80,000. So it didn't matter, because at the end of the day, we're here to make more money. We're here to scale the business. We're not here to see who does it better than the other. and my qualification that used to go wrong. As I said, I used to take those small jobs that were not worth my time. They were with a ticket of 5 grand, 6 grand, with the wrong homeowners that were just going to my calendar just because I was desperate to get more jobs and scrambling across multiple channels to just try my best and get appointments. The trust and my speed. So the homeowners had no reason at that time to actually choose me before I showed up to that appointment. And honestly speaking, I think I do have one of the best closing rates of any. I think I do have the best closing rate for any roofing. I genuinely think I do have the best closing rate ever across any roofers, any remodelers, any high ticket contract businesses because I used to go to all those low quality appointments and I used to leave with a deposit, with a check, because I knew I had to survive at that point. So that's why I said that I was working harder than everyone else because I was trying my best. I was closing a lot of jobs and I was just barely making money myself. Even though I literally was spending 12 hours to 14 hours a day figuring out appointments, closing jobs on the side job, and all those things just because the homeowners had no reason to choose me before I showed up. And I had to be good on the other side, which were my closing skills, in order to close those appointments that I had at that time. So, what I did to fix those three problems is just basically the visibility. When I fixed it, I told myself, okay, so I was invisible to 90% of the people in the market. The only people who knew me were finding me in the home shows, as I said, or referrals and networking, people that personally knew that I do own that roofing company. The qualification, so out of the 20 appointments, 25 appointments I was getting a month, 16 were never serious in the first place. They were just chopping around, they were the wrong budget, wrong timeline, driving to houses that were never going to close. I used to drive to all those appointments and I can't figure out if they're qualified or not unless I'm in their driveway talking to those people. And that wasn't just me. I'm sure that's also you and every contractor, every roofer right now does have those type of problems. Like you cannot know if those people are actually serious because you don't have a qualification process. And I was just in the driveway and I figured out, okay, those people were not qualified. So I wasted my time and I wasted my gas money all the way driving to their house and they were not qualified. So, and the trust and the speed. So, as I said, the homeowners had no reason to choose me. And over three other roofers, they found at the same time no trust was built. So that's why they called three different other roofers to get quotes from them and they were going to go with the cheapest option because there was no trust from me and from the other roofers, no urgency, and just another guy showing up to give them the quote and see if they can compare the prices and they're gonna go with the cheapest option. So, oh, if I was the cheapest, I will be the lucky one to get the job. And at the end of the day, that all contributes to just fixing those three, and your numbers are going to change completely because that's what I did. I just fixed all those three broken problems, and that's what any roofer, any remodeler, any contractor need to do to change the number completely. And it takes 2 months because as soon as you fix that, you're gonna see the amount of appointments coming into your business. So what I actually built right now, let's just talk about step one. Step one, what I used Meta ads. So when I was setting up my Meta ads, my campaigns, I did not target. I targeted all homeowners in the market based, and I narrowed down the homeowners that are having high value property, which we're talking about 400 grand and more at that time. Then I narrowed it down one more time to the homeowners with a roof age 10 years plus because I'm not gonna go ahead and target people that just really got a roof replaced recently last summer or a few months ago. And when I was hitting those ones based on the zip codes and based on the house income at that time, and the most specific one, these are these were my buyers at that time because I'm a roofing company and those are the people that I do care about. I did not care about targeting everyone else in the market. I cared about those people because those are the ones that are going to buy from me. So when it came to the creatives, I used to show my work, my process, and my results. Those were my creatives. No generic roofing ad. I did not bring any picture from the internet just saying, oh, I'm gonna get your roof to look exactly like this. No, it was actual pictures showing my work, my process, and my results. And the ad, what the ad did, pre-sold those people, pre-sold me before they even clicked on the going to the landing page. And the landing page at that time did the rest of the job, which was talking about my main offer, talking about my company, talking about who I am, what I do, my work process. Then they submitted their information. And by just this, I mean we're not talking to everyone right now. So as I said, we're talking to the exact person most likely need a roof and have the budget to pay for it. That was it. That was just the first step. Second step, which is the qualification process. So so my first month, I had around 100 leads, I would say. I just stopped the video and I went ahead and I checked. It was 120 leads. And out of those 120 leads, based on the budget that I put into the meta ads, I used to be getting leads for 50 bucks CPL. My CPL was about $51 and I was spending 3 grand. And based on optimizations and testing, I ended up the first month with 120 leads. So my budget confirmed 70 passed because out of those 100, those are raw leads. They're called raw leads. And right now, the qualification process starts. The filter one, the budget. I wanted to know how many out of those people that I got passed the budget qualification, 70 passed of them. Then the timeline, 50 passed. Then the filtration, I filtered it one more time based on the project size, which is about the how big is your roof, how big is your house. So I wanted to know if it was a small house. I don't want to take the job because on my calendar it's going to be a 2 day, 3 day job, and I could put that in for a bigger size project that will make me more money. So I ended up with 25 qualified appointments. That's what basically like the qualification process, not specifically talking about my exact numbers, but this is what basically you should be expecting for a qualification process. You're gonna tell me, but yeah, I paid for all those leads, I got all those opportunities, and right now you only want me to go to 25 appointments. Yes, because those 25 appointments are not just random people. They trust you. We ran trust qualifications on them. They have the budget, they have the project size, they have the timelines ready to move forward right now. So they're not random appointments, as I said. That's the biggest difference. That's what's gonna make you close 80% of the jobs. At 80% of those 25 appointments, you're closing 20. So do not stress out about just you literally went from 20 random appointments to 25 qualified. So you're gonna be closing 20, 18, 20 jobs. Put that into your numbers. How much is that going to be making you? Then the third step was basically the trust sequences. Let me explain right now how my trust sequences, what I do for me, what I did for other contractors, remodelers, those high ticket contractors, general contractors. Basically, day one, as soon as they book the appointment, they receive a video. In that video, I was telling them who I am, my work process. It's a 60-second video. And I was just telling them why I'm the best person in the market, why I'm the best for you for this job. And it's basically a 60-second video gaining trust and making those homeowners that you are reachable. Because a homeowner will go with you even if they got a quote from another contractor. And I did see that on my system for one of my clients that I do the exact same system for them. And even did happen to me. Let's just say they got a quote for 8 grand from contractor one. Then you walked in, and that's what my contractor, exact numbers of my one of my contractors did. 12K. The homeowner still chose my contractor and didn't do the 8K job. It's a $4,000 difference. As a homeowner, any you're a business owner too. The homeowner will definitely go with the 8 grand job because it's a $4,000 more expensive than the other contractor. So they will most likely go with the other contractors, but they decided to go with my contractor because they gained the trust before they even walked into that appointment and that urgency. with that video that I do and my contractors do, we make those homeowners feel that you are reachable. If there's a problem on the project size, on the roof, anywhere in the process, I am, as a homeowner, able to call you and say, hey, business owner, I do have a problem. I ran into a problem. I do think you told me that you're gonna do this, but you didn't do it. Are you gonna be there to fix it? So whenever you do send that video, they're gonna get that feeling that you're gonna say, yes, I'm gonna be there to fix it, which you have to say yes, they're gonna be there to fix it if it's a guaranteed work, that you top-notch work that you offer warranties for. And that's what they all need. Any problem that happens later on, they want to know if you're gonna follow through on fixing that or not. And when you make them feel that you are reachable, they can reach out to you and tell you, sorry, but there's a problem. Can you come out for 10, 15 minutes, fix this thing? And you'll be happy to do that, because that's what's gonna build the right reputation for you to even grow and scale your company. Day three, they used to get the testimonials, and people, like, not used till right now, get the testimonials every single time they book with us. But even though I try my best to minimize those ones, not based on days, based on hours, because with a sales process, you need to book people 2-3 days maximum after you talk to them, after they came in, because it's a sale. You don't want to lose the sale. You don't want to book people 2 weeks afterwards, because in 2 weeks people are probably gonna find another contractor. In 2 weeks, maybe they're gonna just change their mind. So when you get people and book them in within the next 48 to 72 hours, there's a way higher chance that you're gonna close them right away on the spot. Day four, or I mean, the fourth message was receiving the process explanation. Then, when the appointment is there, they're already sold. So I wasn't just showing up cold anymore. I was just, as I said, basically showing up. The homeowner knew who I was. The homeowner knew my work process. The homeowner knew everything about my company, my business, before I even knocked on their door. And the fourth step, which was the sales process. This is also a very, very, very important step, because at the end of the day, if you're generating more appointments for your business and you're not closing the jobs, you're not going to be making any money. That's the name of the game. The only way that you're making money is you closing more jobs and collecting cash and money from those homeowners. That's how you make money. Doesn't matter if you got thousands of leads, thousands of appointments. If you didn't close those appointments, you're not making any money. Everybody knows that. So what my process used to be before, so when I used to show up cold, the appointment used to take me 2 hours to sell. And look, as I said, I used to close 90% of my appointments, because I'm a good salesman. I was very, very good at closing people. But it used to actually take me 2 hours to convince those homeowners that I am the right guy for the job. And I sometimes used to leave the estimates, and they shop around and they get back to my numbers, because I used to be sometimes on the low end of the market, and I had to do it to get the jobs. And if I didn't do it, they used to ghost me. But with this new system, what I just happened is I was just showing up prepared. They trust me right now, and they're feeling that I'm the right guy for the job. It takes me 45 minutes maximum per appointment. I know they're right now, before when I talked about I am prepared, I know exactly their qualification details. I know their budget, their timeline, the project scope, and when I show up, I'm prepared. I'm not just guessing. I walk in with authority, because trust is already there. They know everything about me. They expecting me. They know how I look, my name, and where I came from, and how I started that business. And we actually used to chat for the first 5 minutes about me and how I built that business, because I'm still, till this point, 20 years old. And I took that company from zero all the way to 8 figures within a year and 7 months so far, as I'm recording this video. And my close rate just jumped from 20%. I'm talking about 20%, because I used to take the jobs that were not worth my time, and only 20% of the jobs that I had that were actually worth my time. So let's just consider the ones that we all looking for, all the way to 70, 65, 70%. That's on average. I do have higher numbers right now, about 80 to 85, because I do training for my sales reps. So the average appointments, as I said, already decided, and I close them right on the spot, and I leave with a deposit. And I only go to the jobs that are actually worth my time right now, because I do have that qualification process very, very strict, that I do not want to drive to someone, even though if the job is going to be closed, even though if they called me and begged me to perform the job, and if I'm not making enough money, I still turn down those jobs, because I do have a lot of appointments and a lot of jobs that I need to take care of that are making me more money, and that's what everybody should be doing. Where you make the most amount of money, go and take that job first. Then, if you still have maybe some time, you can take those small jobs and squeeze into your delivery calendar. So, my results. Let me just walk you through my numbers month by month. So when I started, so before the system, just remember I used to do $80,000 on average flat line. On average, let's just say month one, I did 216 off of this pipeline, 216,000. So my ad spend was 3,000, lead generated 87 that are actually turned after the qualification process, because I had bots kind of submit their information, and I did qualify those ones more and more time based on my system, where I send them from Facebook to my system. So I ended up from 120 based on the ads manager to 78. So I received only 78, as I said. And the qualified appointments were only 28 appointments, and I closed 18 jobs with an average ticket of 12,000. And that's for me as a roof rejuvenation. It's a pretty good number, 12,000. It's the number that I'm looking for. And sometimes I do land jobs that are 20,000, 25,000, but I'm not talking about replacement. And I started recently to take replacements because I did get my roofing license last month. So right now I do replacements, but I used to do only rejuvenation. So my average ticket was 12,000, and that's how I made just that 216,000. Second month, I popped up another $500 because I scaled those ads, and I got 102 leads generated, 32 qualified appointments, closed 22 jobs. Average job was at that month 14,000. So look at this, the qualification process and filtering those people that I did say I talk about in the first step. I fixed it, and I even qualified more people. I wanted to go with the people that can pay those numbers, that are ready to move forward, that could apply to my process and qualify for my roofing process. And I ended up with an average ticket of 14,000 from 12 to 14 in only 30 days. You see that? And that made me $388,000 off of this pipeline by itself. With the other pipelines and referrals, and I had a home show at that month, and I ended up making 360,000. So those 2 months combined from the meta ads, just $524,000. Same, I'm the same roofer. I'm in the same market, and I had the same crew, just completely different systems behind the leads, behind the people that were actually going, on my calendar. So, and that was it. It wasn't like rocket science. It was just exactly this system, and I'm right now scaling across multiple locations. Let me right now go over what most roofers get wrong in this whole process. So, as I talked, I want you to think of the visibility, qualification, trust, and speed as a car of 4 tires, and this is tire 1, 2, 3, and 4. So right now, all those tires supports the car, and all those have to be running at the same time, and fixing one and ignoring the other is not going to make the car run. So what most roofers try to fix, they fix one at a time, and when they run the ads without qualification process, they end up just losing the ad spend because the leads were coming in, we're not qualified, and we're not ready to move forward. So spending $3,000 and not making any money back. And when they fix the qualification without building trust, they're still gonna struggle closing those appointments, because what's the point of you going out to 30 appointments, qualified appointments, if people do not trust you? You're gonna end up closing out of 30, maybe 9 or 10 jobs. I'm not saying you're gonna be losing money. No, no, no. You're not. You're gonna be making money over here. You're gonna be making money over here, but it's not gonna be maximizing the amount of money that you can be making, so you can do it in 2 months. That's the biggest difference. Or they just built the trust without the speed. So you did the qualification, you did the trust, you did everything, but you were not fast enough to talk to the leads right as soon as they come in. Because this is part of the process. Like, this is something I still struggle with my contractors and remodelers, roofers, remodelers that are doing $400,000, $500,000 every single month, that they turn down jobs. They sometimes ignore people quotes for $50,000 because they say, well, I don't want to take that job, even though the homeowner begged them saying, yes, I want you to come back, and I signed the quote, let's just get it started. It's 50,000, 51,000, and my contractors still turned that down because they don't want to do it. And the speed, it just gets between the communication. As soon as the lead comes in, you call them, you talk to them, you close them, in the speed of closing the jobs, and you don't leave the estimates and leave. This part of your business, speed is one of the biggest assets you can have on your side as you're scaling your business. Because look, you can scale your business and you can do whatever I just explained in this video across 20 years. Would you do it in 20 years, or you can do it in 2 months? That's why I called it like a car. The car will still roll, but it will roll slower. So all those four pieces have to work together, as I said, and fixing one without the others, it's just one flat tire. And the car is going to be rolling, as I said, but it's not going to be as fast as possible. The system only works if everything is connected, as I said. So right now, I just basically showed you the whole exact system. All you have to do is just implement the steps: visibility, qualification, trust, and speed to your own roofing company, to your remodeling company, and you'll be printing money, making multiple six figures every single month. I did it myself. I did it with 23 other contractors, and I keep doing it every single day with other contractors. So if you're a roofing contractor, if you're a remodeler, and you're doing somewhere between 80,000 to 150,000, and you want to get and implement this system for you, there's a link in the description. Just click it, book a time with me. I'm not gonna pitch you, I'm not gonna try to sell you anything. I'm just gonna exactly implement the system for your own business in your own market. I'm gonna talk about your own numbers and show you what's gonna be a realistic thing that you're gonna have to implement it to get the realistic results based on who you are and your own market, as I said, and your business specifically. And I'm just gonna talk about those things. And if you want my help, I could go ahead and implement this system for you and run it as I do with other contractors. And at the end of the day, if I can't help you, because I don't work with anyone, I only work with the people that do between 80,000 to 150,000 already, because I know at that point they can sell jobs. And if I can't help you, I'll just point you to the right direction to get to the point where between 80 to 150,000, where maybe you can get back to me, or maybe you'll be able to implement the exact system for you, on your own, I mean. And you just go there. I just want to see you at the top, guys. This is basically something, if you do it right now, and if you've been in business for years, every single roofer that I talked to that been in business for 10, 15 years has told me that I wish I knew about this sooner. I wish I knew that I could get those leads, those appointments sooner. I would have been way in a way different place than where he was right now, because he used to still have that survival mode for years and years and years, slow seasons for years and years and years. So as I said, this system works, but my question right now, how long are you going to have to wait till you implement this system and make it work for your own business? That's it. Well, thanks for watching the whole video. You'll see my Instagram page also in the description of this video. Add me on Instagram. You'll see a lot of my videos. I post out their content, and that's where all the contractors I do work with, and they do reach out to me through Instagram, other than the booking link that there's in the description. Also going to be, just follow my Instagram. I do entertaining questions, realistic situations that does happen to my contractors on a daily basis. I see it in their accounts. funny things that also my sales reps tell me about when they go and close the jobs. And I train and I talk about sales tips in order to close the appointments right on the spot as part of this trust and speed out there all the time to implement it and improve those systems every single day. So thanks for watching this video. We'll talk later.